Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the podcast, Relationship Bootcamp Podcast with Pastor Will. I hope y'all ready to go in. We have a great topic that I want to discuss today, and that is how do you date? What's the proper method, the proper protocol? How what's the methodology we should use here? What are the secrets to dating? And I know it's a an important topic because a lot of people have asked me about it and sent comments on it. I just never thought I would be one of those asking about it myself, but here we are. Alas, alas, I'm here too. I think that's the proper way to say that word. But thank you all for joining in. Y'all hit those shares and likes. We're going to have a great discussion today here live. I want to do a couple of other things too. I'm going to share with you all right now. I'm going to say it again. I want to do some live, this is live, but I want to do some live in-person podcasts. I'm going to do one at noon. I want to do one in the evening where I actually have you all come in and sit with me. I'm going to do them in the cafe. So we're going to do one with lunch. We're going to have lunch in the cafe and do a podcast with special guests. And then I'm going to do one at dinner. So we'll pick some dates. I'm going to let y'all know in advance so that you can plan. If you would like to join me, we have this brand new great cafe at the church. And they're serving all kind of lunch. And so we're going to have them prepare lunch for us when I do one of the podcasts. And then we're going to have them prepare dinner. I hope that's something that you all would join me in. I think it would be a great discussion because we'll have live feedback. You can ask questions right then and there live. And because most of the questions that I get in the chat, I don't even see them. So my coffee's good. I tell you, I can kill a latte. I'm just telling y'all. I don't know if y'all can even see this. It looks a mess right now, but because I just drunk out of it. But yeah, my lattes. Let me try it one more time. No, it still looks a mess. But thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Y'all hit those shares, hit those likes, tag somebody, tell them to join in. We're going to talk about dating. What's the protocol for dating? What's the way to date? What's the proper way to date? Someone sent me a question about that. And I wanted to just kind of talk about it today. I thought it was a great question. And they said anonymously, they said, some of us, like myself, really haven't dated. For example, I was married for 20 years and he was the only man I've dated. I have not dated a man since. True reason, I don't know how. True reason, I don't know how. I have literally canceled dates out of fear. Now, I ain't did that now. She said, I've canceled dates out of fear. So that's interesting. I've canceled dates out of fear. So we're gonna talk about this. Who calls who? As a Christian, how much is too much when it comes to physical touch? First base, second base, third base. Okay, stop, Pastor Will. Who even initiates? You may need a panel for this. And that may be one of the live sessions that I will do. I'm going to bring in some people. I want to do some with couples. I'm going to do some with singles. So I'm going to do one of my podcasts live to those of you that are coming. I'm going to do a podcast live with lunch at our new VPF Cafe. Would love for you all to join us. And I'm going to do one at lunch, at noon, one of these Tuesdays. I'm going to do another one at dinner. Probably about 6:30ish, 7, something like that. And we'll have the cafe stay open a little bit later and provide dinner for us that evening. Y'all can come in, hang out with me, and we're going to do a live podcast from the Victorious Praise Cafe. So We're going to get into this discussion. I think it's good. Um, and I want to break this comment apart, and that's hence the purpose of this discussion here. I want to dig into it. So, those of you that are coming on, I'm going to refer back to this comment, this question. Some of us, like myself, haven't dated. For example, I was married for 20 years, and he was the only man I've dated. I have not dated a man since. True reason, I don't know how. I have literally canceled dates out of fear. Uh, Question: who calls who? As a Christian, how much is too much when it comes to physical touch? First base, second base, third base. Some of y'all may be going to home plate, Lord Jesus. Who even initiates? You may need a panel for this. Who initiates? So let's jump in. Let's get started. Thank you all for joining us today for this. We're going to talk a few minutes. I'm not going to be very long. I got this big conference thing coming up. Hopefully that you all are going to join me this evening. We're welcoming and honoring our Bishop Patrick Wooden for. I think I got a screenshot of that somewhere. For our webinar, not webinar, this is the webinar or podcast. We got a conference tonight. And tonight will be Bishop Wooden. Tomorrow night will be J. Kaylin Carr. Thursday night will be Evangelist Dorinda Clark Cole. And Sunday night will be our special guest, Leandria Johnson. And everybody keep commenting to me about Leandria Johnson. I don't know why they feel like they need to let me know, but okay. But at any rate, we are scheduled for our conference this week. Now, let's talk about dating. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So, what I want to do is let's make this a little bit interactive. I have a few questions that I have posted, but I like these questions that are in our message here. And the first thing that I would like to talk about, well, you know what? I want to open up with this. This is what I want to open up with. Tell me your favorite date. I'm going to give you mine. I want y'all to tell me something, what happened on what was your best date? What was your best date? Married or single? I do believe, and I want to get some couples on too, because I want to talk about the importance of dating even after you're married. I know that most of us think of dating as a pursuit. But some people say, well, I've got her now. I got him now. So there's no longer a need to pursue. But me and my former wife dated. We had date night, family night. We went out on movie night. We did our little coffee things together. And so we saw the significance and importance of continuing the dating. But what was your favorite date? I'd love to hear from you all. Let me tell you a little bit about mine. Mine was funny because I was naive. I didn't know what I was doing. I think we were both juniors or seniors in college. And I asked my former wife, I don't remember being nervous about asking women out back then. I am now. That's why I think the dating sites are cool. But all of that being said, I took her to a play. The play was called West Pacific. I don't know why I went to go see West Pacific. I thought I was being cultural. It was a nice little, I'm singing in the rain. I think that's a different play, but y'all understand. It was one of them kind of plays. It wasn't no Mr. Brown or Medea. It wasn't them kind of plays. It was, I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. And what did the play? I'm trying to impress her, right? So we go to this play and we're looking all sophisticated. Nobody else looked like us. We the only ones that look like us, if y'all get my drift. And so we had to play, and they're doing a little singing stuff and a little play acting and all of that. And I'm pretty sure it was called West Pacific. And then they ended it, and everybody stood up to walk out, and we stood up, we walked out, we went out, got in the car, and said, I said to myself, that was an interesting ending. It didn't seem like it was full, but we went out, we got in the car, drove, and we got right to the exit. And I said to my former wife, ain't nobody else leaving. Y'all, it was the mid time, the break in the play where they go out and get snacks. I didn't know. I was just a little young young man. We about to lead the play halfway through. I had no idea, but it was it was very memorable because of that. Somebody say they not like us. Y'all right. Them plays wouldn't like our plays. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just trying to impress a little young lady. And so that was one of my favorite dates. Anybody else got what care to share a date or experience? Looked like Rosa said something about mini golf. Okay, for the first time, it was so much fun. I think that's a good idea to do things that engage you in fun as opposed to just sitting. When both of you are sitting together, you're not engaging with each other. So that's a good way to date. Do something where you're across from each other or doing something with each other as opposed to going to watch something. Because although I'm in your presence, we're not doing anything together, but watching a performance. That's a good idea. Doing something. Cassandra, it was intermission. Y'all, I'm getting old. I forget all of this stuff. Yeah, it was intermission. I thought it was the end of the play. Anybody else? Let's see here. Darius says, my first date was my first one with my wife, Ebony Leith. Now, come on, Darius. Your first date was with the person that you married? Later on in our relationship, I told her I knew I was going to marry her after that date. Okay. Darius, by the way, him and his wife are going to come on. We're going to do a live session with them and talk about they're the newest couple in our church, a newlywed couple, and excited about their marriage and their relationship connection with the church. But thank you for sharing that, Darius. Anybody else care to share? What was your first date, favorite date experience? Ingrid has got one here. She said, my favorite date was dinner, then dessert at an ice cream shop on Glenwood. He was killing time. He surprised me with tickets to a concert at the Carolina Theater. Well thought out. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And sometimes, fellas, we try to put it down a little bit. We try to let them know what they're working with. I always try to be a good companion, whether it's with my wife or even some of the recent dating that I've done lately. Uh, Somebody said I was trying to. Oh, come on, Makita. She said you was trying to hurry up and get to second base. No, I wasn't even at first base yet. Let's see here. Who else? Tyler Sean. Let's see what she says. Best date was when my date brought the bowling alley and karaoke venue. When he brought, okay, I'm gonna see what this is, the bowling alley and karaoke venue to New York for the night, since I didn't want to be around a lot of people. Okay, well, what you working with? You got somebody just gonna buy out the whole bowling alley and karaoke? I think that's what she's saying. Yeah, that would impress me too. I can't put it down like that now. Just go buy out the whole bowling alley. Look at this. Look at this. That's awesome. That's awesome. I wanted to talk about that because dating should be a great experience. It should be a fun experience. Um, but more importantly, you should remember the purpose for dating, which I love this. I didn't come up with this, but I use it as if I did, to collect data, to learn the person, not fix the person, not change the person, not make the person to who you want them to be, but find out who they truly are. Find out. You date long enough to find out who they are. Somebody said, Sierra said, do the dates I take myself on count? No, they don't, Sierra. No, if you take yourself on the date by yourself, that don't count. I've done plenty of those in my own at my own house. I've actually been to Vegas and traveled all over by myself. I don't count those as dates, though. Damona said, my son and his wife goes on a date every week. I used to do that as well. I wish me and my husband did when he was living. Lord knows I do. Very important that you do those things. And thanks for sharing that, Damona. Sorry about your loss, but we certainly appreciate that. William says, went on a Sunday lunch that was going so well. It extended into an afternoon drive to a local mountain overlook when the conversation continued. I guess he did get past first base. Okay, I'm just messing with you, William. So let's talk about dating protocols today. Dating protocols. First question. I know we have some females on. I want to know, what do you all think? Can a woman ask a man out? That's the first question I want to deal with today. Can a woman ask a man out? And actually, I know there's no right or wrong answer, but I'm thinking about the season that we're in. I'm old school, so I was dating back in the 80s. That's 40 years ago. But 2025 is what I'm referring to, because some of y'all be like, that's the devil. I know. We grew up a certain way. But I want to know, in 2025, can a woman swipe right or left or whatever? Can she initiate it? In 2025, I want to know, we're trying to get to, how do you date now, the proper protocol. In 2025, I'm going to share some biblical passages with you about dating. Most of them, interestingly enough, don't give us a whole lot of instructions. They give us some warnings, though, which is interesting. I would like to know, in 2025, is that proper protocol? Let me tell you what I did. I'm gonna go to some of your feedback in just a minute, because I'm still very apprehensive about this dating thing. And so I saw somebody that I thought might be, worth investigating. The book cover. I told you, you don't even know what's in the book until you like the book cover. So I like the book cover. And so we, for some reason, initiated a talk or conversation. And but I kept it professional. That's Pastor Will. I kept it professional. And then we parted. And I said to myself, if I see her again, I'm going to say something. But what I said was, hey, thank you for whatever she did. And I handed her my business card. Don't y'all laugh at me. I said, I'd love to hear from you. Suffice to say, I never heard from her. One of my daughters told me, Pastor, no, you can't give out the business card. So I don't know. Y'all pray for your pastor. I know this sounds crazy coming from your pastor, but this is my podcast. This is not my preaching on Sunday. This is my podcast. Somebody got on me about something I posted on my Facebook page. I'm like, that's my Facebook page. I don't answer to anybody from about my Facebook page or my podcast. This is my platform. So I'm a little bit more transparent on this, so y'all just gonna have to help her brother. But yeah, I gave out the business card. She said, don't do that no more. Don't give out your business card. So I guess that was not proper protocol. I'm like, I thought it was cool. You got my number, you can hit me up. Nah. So is it okay for women to initiate? Damona says, yes, sir, but it is good for him to initiate. Now, that's what I was told, that even in 2025, women are still, as much as independent as independent you all are, y'all still want the male to initiate. You still want the male to initiate. Rosa said, yes. Ebony says, depends on how she's asking. Lots of love. Elegance is key. Elegance is key. You're gonna have to explain that a little bit more, Ebony. I'd love to. And me and you and your husband gonna sit down and talk anyway on this live. But if you can explain that a little bit more. Sylvia says yes. I asked my current BF if I could shoot my shot. Oh Lord. He said yes. And we've been dating 2 years. I've always liked him, but he never knew. Shoot my shot. Okay, that's some language that I hadn't heard in a minute. Okay, so Sierra's cool with it. I'm trying to figure out. Hey, I'm not getting a lot of people saying no. Nothing wrong at all. But I prefer a man with enough boldness and humility to approach me. And that's interesting. My challenge is, and I struggle with this because I don't like rejection. And men don't like rejection. And so I would like to know, and I've been rejected, trust me. I've had to deal with that. It's an ugly feeling though. No, let the man continue to lead. Rosanna, thank you. I'm getting some people. Um, who else here? Successful women can be intimidating. It's okay to give him the eye. Successful women can be intimidating. All right. Good comments, good feedback. Passed the wrong move. Rosa told me my business card was the wrong move. Okay, y'all have to pray for a pastor. Y'all realize I'm old now. I'm trying to hang in there, but I'm a little bit older. I remember stuff I did back in the 80s. Y'all talking about this. This is 2025. I just logged in and these comments. Okay, Jaquetta. All right. Anybody else? I love a man to take the lead and yes, ask me out and lets me know you're confident about who you are and willing to take a chance. So y'all think this is all about confidence. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. So that's a good question. So I think it's literally, however, up to the person. I want to share something with you all about dating, and then we're going to come back to some more questions from the Bible. One of the things that the Bible does when I was looking up passages on dating, it seems to give us more scriptures about warning. Now, the Bible does want us to have companionship. The Bible says it's not good for a man to be alone. It says he that finds a wife finds a good thing. But more than not, we get a lot of warnings about this thing. We get a lot of warnings. Song of Solomon says, I charge you. Song of Solomon 2:7. I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, by the roes, and by the hinds of the field, that ye stir not up, nor awake my love till he please. Let me read that to you in the New Living Translation. O women of Jerusalem, by the gazelles and the wild deers, not to awaken love until the time is right. Not to awaken love until the time is right. So I think that passage really is warning us about the challenges and the dangers of love if you ain't ready for love. I think that's powerful. I think it also helps us with the question that I had about what about casual dating? What about casual dating? So let's talk about that, casual dating. When I first did a dating profile, one of the things on there, I said I was something about being casual. I just wanted, you know what I really wanted? I'd been really in a bad place and I wanted female companionship. I wasn't necessarily, I wanted to be able to talk to a woman. Y'all with me? I wanted to be able to hang out. I wanted to go to a movie or go to a play. But what I found out was online, that may mean that you just want to hit it and quit it. Okay. That you're not looking for companionship. You're just looking to get some. And so I said, okay, well, Pastor KB out here like this, y'all ain't working with me. So let's talk about that. I had several comments earlier about people saying, I just want to go to a concert. I just want to go with someone. So y'all, let's talk about that. Casual dating. What do you all think about that? I just read to you a scripture from the Bible about being careful not to awaken love until you're ready for it. But tell me, what are your thoughts on casual dating? Casual dating. I've been told by several people, my natural daughters, some of my spiritual daughters, not to do it. I've been told that because even if you go into it up front with an understanding, eventually somebody's feelings is going to get involved. So I want to hear from you. Are you going to a Sadie Hawkins dance? I think that's when you go to a dance and the women have to ask. I would love to do that. I don't know if I would like to do that balloon pop thing because I go in there and I come in there and all them balloons go to popping, pop, 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 pop. Anybody ever see the balloon pop shows? Those are hilarious. But y'all talk to me. Give me some feedback on what do you think. Um, it's a challenge. I remember doing this back when I was in college. And I loved this girl, not my wife, but another girl. She was drop dead gorgeous. Fell in love with her. Met her at church. And she let me know that she wasn't interested in me like that, but she ate up my money. She let me take her out. And we would go out on these dates, and we would go concerts. And Fred Hammond come to town. I get tickets. We go to the concert together, and we may go grab a bite to eat after the concert, or grab a bite to eat after church service. I'd met and knew her family, and I would go over to her house for dinner and this and that. And so, although she kept telling me that she wasn't interested in me like that, she kept going out on dates with me, and so that's what happens. Even when you say it up front, emotions. Remember, I just read that passage. I'm gonna read a few more about that, but I want to hear from you all. What are your thoughts on it? My natural daughter, Crystal, told me, she said, "No, I don't think you should do that." You know who else told me not to do that? My mama. Yeah, my mama. She said, you want people to think. Now, these ain't her words, but this is the way it sounded like. You don't want people to think that you a slut. You just hoeing around. No, okay. Every time they see you with another woman. I just wanted companionship. She said, no, you need your wife. But I wasn't ready for a wife. I just wanted companionship. All right, nothing casual about saints dating. We should do it with a purpose. That's Sierra. I'm probably leaning more towards you, Sierra, but I'm just sharing with you the reasons why people may be interested. Damona says, I do not agree with casual dating because the Bible also speaks on letting your good be evil spoken of, or not letting your good be evil spoken of. And if you're seen with too many men, the right man may pass you up. You know, I have to add to tell you, when, especially years ago, when we had a lot of when I was in my 30s and I had a lot of people in the church in my 20s, I had to tell guys, I said, listen, you can't be coming up here with Shamika on 1 week and everybody see you with Shamika on your arm, then you coming back up here 2 weeks later with Nene, and you come back up here and people going to think you a hoe or a slut or something like that. You know, I said, you can't do that. One guy was called to preach and I delayed him giving his initial sermon for a year because he had that reputation. I said, you got to fix this. I said, you've been with too many women. Y'all ain't working with me, but no, these are real thoughts and things that go through people's heads. And yes, Velma, good point. There are people who will use you. Dating multiple people can be purposeful. Who would you compare the date to? So good point. Anybody else comments on casual dating? I don't think one person told me that they do BFFs on the dating sites, but they actually do it not to find the opposite sex, but the same sex, to just find girlfriends to go do hangouts with and things like that. So, that's interesting. Never thought about it that way. Because I don't really, hang out with dudes like that. I got brothers in church. We do church stuff together. But I've never even when I was married, I didn't do a whole lot with people. And I'm going to try to change that in this next iteration of my life. But yeah, I didn't do a whole lot of things, just going to the games with the fellas or doing all that. I didn't do that. But some people say that you can use dating sites to find friends like that. You just want to go to the game. You just want to do this. So, Let's see a couple of more. Casual dating is too much work, Ty says. Too many emotions and feelings, too many choices. I wouldn't be able to keep up. I have made a decision not to do casual dating, Jacqueline says. At my age, I want dating to be intentional and purposeful because I desire marriage. I tried online dating, but it was not a good fit. The men were so weird, even on Christian dating sites. She said they were so weird. I have not given up on dating sites personally, and my philosophy is this. I think what Jacqueline just said is 100% true. That there's a lot of trash out there on dating sites, but I feel like if I have to dig through a bunch of trash to find a diamond, then I'll dig through the trash. I always felt like it wasn't supposed to be easy. Um, and so if it takes a lot of work, if it takes time, the one thing that I feel that, and the reason why I think we should do dating sites is because it's the best way to meet people. Um, I don't meet a whole lot of people out in normal. I go to church, preach 2 services, I come back home. I go on a church trip, but when I go on a church trip, I'm about business. And if I'm on a church trip, let's say I'm at a national convention, I'm not there for dating. So I'm there, to minister or to preach or to do a conference. And so I'm not just walk to a woman, hey, you looking for a man? At a church conference, hey, you looking for a husband? So I'm not really good at that. So that's why I personally do like the dating sites, because we know that both parties are interested in doing the same thing. Even if some of them are weird, and remember the message on Sunday, we all strange a little bit. Let me see. Marquis said, wait a minute now. You don't get good practicing against the same team over and over again. I think it's a different type of thing, Makita. Tiffany says, I don't even like to think about it. If this current relationship don't work, I'm retiring early. God bless you, Tiffany, but you're wrong. You're too young. You're too pretty. Even if this one don't work out, you may do exactly like everybody else. You're gonna swear off men or swear off women for a season, and then that itch gonna come back, and somebody gonna want to holler at you. And people do that all the time, but it is difficult. It is complicated. Ingrid, I don't believe in it. I think it's important to make that clear up front. Well, I agree with you, Ingrid, on making it clear up front, but you could make the casual dating clear up front. We're just friends. We're just hanging out. I don't think it's a good idea, but you can still make that clear that I am not interested in you. You are not interested in me. I just would like to go to the concert with somebody. I like to go out to dinner. I like to go to movies, hang out, get some popcorn, watch a good movie with someone, be able to have a nice conversation with someone of the opposite sex. So I'll leave it at that. All right, very good. Damika says, if you don't want to date casually to find a serious match, your best strategy is to use dating apps and platforms specifically designed for serious relationships. That's a good point, Damika, because how would you even know if you don't date casually? How would you even know if the person is a potential or a possibility? So I don't do it, but I understand why some would. Now, let me give you a couple of scripture passages. Hopefully, y'all getting something out of this. I love this passage here. Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Guard your heart. The King James says, keep your heart with all diligence. Keep means guard here. For out of it are the issues of life. You can't let anybody into your heart. That's one of the challenges with casual dating. You may connect your heart, tie your heart to somebody who's not the right body. And so that's a challenge, but if you're looking for a mate, you're going to have to do that, but you got to be very selective. You got to be very protective. You got to be very careful. One thing I would say is definitely know what you're looking for. Um, Definitely pray about it. Now, I know some of y'all believe just wait on God and God will send you somebody. I don't see that in the Bible. I'm not saying it won't happen that way. I just don't see it in scripture. I don't see it in the Bible where God sends us mates. Somebody kept going to all these scriptures, order your steps in the Lord, and if God will direct your path and all of that. I was like, yeah, but that ain't talking about dating. The Bible was very clear that he that finds a wife finds a good thing. It's not good that man should be alone. To avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, every woman have her own husband. So the Bible definitely wanted us to be married, but the Bible never said that God would send us a mate. So I think the dating process is what God gave us. I think trying to find that person and all of those types of things. Do you know that historically, we didn't look for our mates, they were brought to us? Our parents did that. They knew us better than we knew ourselves. And I know we try to look for somebody of how what we like or what we love or how we feel about them, but historically, it wasn't done that way. You were pretty much matched. This is who your husband gonna be, and you had to learn. Even the Bible says that older women teach the young women how to love their husbands. You had to learn how to fall in love. And I think that there's something about that, because I think we're looking for something and then we think we found it. We get married and say, no, this ain't it. So then we get divorced. When in reality, that was never really supposed to be the process. I believe the process was we were supposed to learn how to love our husbands, learn how to love our wives. So as long as that person meets certain things, I mean, I don't want to be unequally yoked with some joker. I don't want to be unequally yoked with somebody that has nothing in common with me. We ain't even going in the same direction. I tell somebody we don't have to be on the same part of the road, but we got to be on the same road now. We got to be heading in the same direction. I may be 3 X's down, or you may be 3 X's further ahead, but at least we're going to end up in the same place. This is one of my teachings, that as long as both of you are headed for God, then you should be able to reconnect and find each other. Even in marriage, when marriages kind of get that little icky stuff, if both of y'all keep your eyes on the Lord, you should be able to come back together. Unfortunately, that didn't happen with me. Don't know why, other than here I am. Talking about dating, but it is what it is. So that being said, let me ask a couple of more questions. I hope that this is useful. Somebody said they did this in churches. They did. I mean, they would actually match people up and hook you up and all that kind of stuff in churches and all of that. That's not the world that we live in. That's why I said dating in 2025. Let me see if I got a couple of other questions I'd like to have you all answer for me. So I've heard from you all on quite a bit. What should you do when you're just tired of dating? I think a lot of people have given up. They say, I've tried the dating sites. I've tried online dating. I've tried blind dates. I've tried this. I've tried that. So, and maybe it just ain't for me. What should you do in that particular case? I want to talk about that a little bit. What should you do? What should you do in that particular case? Maybe you've never been married. Maybe you've been married and the marriage failed. I've been there, and I've actually swore off women when I first went through my situation. I'm like, I don't trust none of y'all. I literally did. I love Ingrid's first response. Don't focus on yourself. So the response to the counterpart is that is focus on the things of God. Focus on the Lord. Focus on the things of God. Anybody else? What should you do when you get to that place where I'm just throwing my hands up? I love this. Do the things you love in a group and see if someone sparks your interest. Um, if you meant to be married again, if you are meant to be married again, God, I guess there's another part of that. Um, but I think y'all give me some more feedback on this. The person that's frustrated with dating, maybe they never been married, maybe they've been married and it didn't work out, or been dating several times. William says, take a break from it. Meditate on what has worn you out and come back at it with a renewed mind and cleared intention. William, that's really good. That's really good. Anybody else? I'd love to hear from you all. I have taken a break and I'm getting to know God or Gail. I'm getting to know myself, I guess is what she's saying, and spending more time with God. How are you trying to be found? So many say they want to date, but what are they doing to date? These are all good responses, and I think all of them are appropriate depending on where you are. For me, and I'm not going to share much more today. I'm going to do some more about this a little bit later. For me, what was so interesting was I had to go through healing. And sometimes when we talk about things like focusing on yourself, focusing on the Lord, it literally gives you an opportunity to work on you. 5 things that I always tell people to do when it comes to focusing and developing and working on you. You need a physical care plan. Do something physically. Sometimes we get into a state of depression, and what you really need to do is you need to go start working out. Get up. Anybody, I know I'm kind of like that right now. I haven't been to work out in a few weeks, and I've been trying to get myself back into it, and I will get back there. But you need a physical care plan. A plan that takes care of your body. I've been going to the doctors, making sure I'm staying healthy, but working out. I do try to eat well, but take care of your body. The second thing is have a great emotional plan. You got to have somebody in your life other than yourself. And I know we just got through talking about having friends of the opposite sex and all of that, but somebody has got to be in your life. We're not created to be loners. Even if it's not somebody that you're pursuing or dating, you need to have, one of the things that we do at Victorious Praise is we have growth groups. The purpose of a growth group is to get people in a group and connect with folks. And it don't have to be about dating. It just has to be about connecting. We that are strong bear the infirmities of the weak. You got to get people in your life that you can talk to, talk things through, talk things out, talk you off the ledge, talk them off the ledge. But you have to have those people in your life. You have to have it. You have to set up groups and people that you can share with and talk with. And however you have to do that, like I said, at Victorious Praise, we do growth groups. Some people perhaps do prayer groups. Others do small Bible study groups. That's what we have at our church. But you have to have that because that gives you an emotional outlet. I'm not adverse to therapy or talking to a counselor, going and meeting with your pastor periodically, getting a mentor. But you've got to have people in your life for your emotional care. So you got your physical care, you got your emotional care. And most important, this one should come first, even though I'm saying the third, spiritual care. Now, to me, I had that one on lock. I had that one on lock. I got up every morning and I prayed at 6 a.m. And now we have a prayer group that meets every morning, about 120, 150 of us every morning. I join in with that prayer group with our morning prayer. I go to church at least twice a week, Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights. I study my word. I'm a pastor, so I have no choice, but it's my job. But I think everybody, that's why we do questions, because you have to have a spiritual care plan. I praise God. I worship God. I study God. And so I have a spiritual care plan on lock. You are body, soul, and spirit. Those are 3 things I just got through talking about. Your physical care, your emotional care, and your spiritual care. And if you don't take care of those things, then you won't be healthy, regardless of dating situations or circumstances. So it's imperative that you're taking care of your body, you're taking care of your mind or your soul, and you're taking care of your spirit. Then I say 2 other things you got to do. You've got to be able to have a plan to react to things that are out of it. If you're depressed, you got to have a plan for depression. If you're sad, you got to have a plan for sadness. If you get angry and you go off, you got to have a plan for anger. I tell everybody, what are the emotions that you're dealing with? And then make sure, listen to me real clearly, make sure you have a plan in place, because those emotions are going to come back. Listen, you can get over depression, but I don't mean depression ain't going to come back. Somebody told me that I've been depression free for 2 years. I said, great. I have not. I've been in and out of depression, in and out of in depression, out of depression. I get joy, depression comes back. I get this, and it's nothing wrong with it. I get angry, but then anger dissipates, because the Bible says, be angry, but sin not. Don't let the sun go down the wrath. I make sure that I don't stay in those states, because I have a plan for them. I have a plan to make sure I vacation. I have a plan to make sure that I'm doing things that I enjoy. I may not do a lot of exercising, but I do have my massage therapist give me a massage every week. Oh yeah, that takes me, Calgon, take me away. And then finally, you got to have a recreation plan. You've got to enjoy yourself. You got to have things. I go to the movies. I travel. I have different. I'm planning on doing some other things this year. I think I'm gonna get back into golfing and just very things like that. So I believe that this helps you when you're dealing with this. And but going back to what I heard earlier about being focused on the things of God. Now, notice I did 5 things. One of those were the things of God. And I believe in doing the things of God, that you never know who you run into. That's how I met my former wife. We were in a evangelism and prayer group, and we got to talking. And so doing the things of God, I think, are more important, are very important, because you find someone who's also doing those same things. So hopefully y'all got something out of that. Uh, um, Let me see. Cherie says, Pastor, dating is so difficult, even more so when maintaining celibacy. Men just don't want to hear that these days. The dating scene becomes very scarce with saved, single, and celibate. Um, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that. I've had several daughters come to me with that same issue, Sherry. Thank you for bringing that up. And it's going to be our last topic. Celibacy. Is that a challenge for dating? Celibacy. One of my daughters who was dating a guy, she came to me and asked me, Patrick, what am I going to do? Because I know he's going to ask for it. I know he's going to ask for it. And um, um, obviously, we know the passages. The Bible says, guard your heart. You got to guard your soul. When you are intimate with the person, you're connecting your soul to that person, and you're not protecting your heart, because number one, God told us, and all those warnings, he said, flee fornication, all of that. So now, if the problem is, and I want to hear from you all on this, if the problem is that you feel like the person won't continue to date you if you don't give it up, if that's a true statement, then maybe that's not the person you should be pursuing or allowing to pursue you. I know, well, Pastor's scarce out here. I get it. But if I don't give it up and you leave me because I don't give it up, love is deeper than getting some. I mean, if you're a man, you want to get some. Trust me, y'all ain't working with a brother in this place. And I ain't gonna put that on you, sisters. Some of y'all like to get some too. Stop, Pastor Will. But if you would leave me over that, then that tells me a lot about you and what your commitment level would be if we got married. I'm a huge that tells me a lot, because I'm trying to make a decision that's life altering for the rest of my life. I was married for 34 years. That was the best years of my life. And most of them were really good. Last 3 was a little shaky, but we had a great life. I spent my life with this person. And if this person would leave me during the dating period because my values are, I don't have sex, then what other reasons would you leave me? And if I do have sex, is that the only reason why we're dating? To get some? Y'all not working with me. So if you're talking about trying to find somebody that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, if we're going by the biblical terms, till death do us part, you're trying to find a life partner. That's the most important decision you're going to make, other than salvation, for the rest of your life. Finding a person to spend the rest of your life with. Finding a person that's going to grow old with you, a person that's going to take you back and forth to the doctor's office. When you get old, going to change your diapers and your Pampers. Y'all ain't working with me. If you would leave me at the beginning of the relationship because I won't have sex, then that would scare me about your commitment level when something else comes up. That would be what do they call them, a red flag? Y'all know how these flags that you have to set. Okay, and it's not that as men they won't ask. The question isn't about, well, I'm a, just the mere fact that you want to get some. No, he's a grown blank man. Or she's a grown blank woman. We have these tendencies. We have these issues. What I would do good, evil is present. We get weak. Those things do happen. That isn't the problem, because all have sinned and fallen short of his glory. So if someone has approached you and that turned you off, I get it. That may be an area where you can strengthen them and help them in. Let them know that every woman don't give it up. And if you want this woman, these are my requirements. And I'm okay with that. And if both of you cannot contain yourself, and you've done enough due diligence to find out if this is the right person, get married. That's what the Bible says, to avoid fornication. Get your wife. So that's a good reason to get married. But understanding celibacy and the challenges of celibacy in dating, I don't think you should compromise just for the person. Are you with me? And if the person is making that a compromisable issue, then you got to really think hard and strong about whether or not this is really the right person for you. How many people has this individual dated that won't have sex on the first date? And then how many people has this individual dated that do have sex on the first date? And see, that's the challenge that you're going to run into, is because the person that you're dating may have a past or history that even in church, this is what we do. And so you're going to have to be the light to say, no, this ain't what we do. And if you want this person, this is what I do. Good point, Damona. Yvette says, having something in common is very important with your mate. I play pickleball, and I have met many guys from having the same interests. It doesn't mean we will go any further. Very good point. Very good point. So listen, I'm going to stop there. Got to get to another meeting. I love the discussion. I'd love to hear from you all again. Let me tell you something before I get off. I'm going to revisit this. I'm probably going to get some panelists. I want to do a couple of in-person podcast. One I'm gonna do at lunchtime to see if you all want to join me at the Victorious Praise Cafe, and where we can just kind of sit down, have some lunch, and I will be talking with my guests while you all are lunching. We used to call this lunch and learn. It was literally lunch and learn at the church. Now that we have a new cafe, we're going to set that up, and then I'm going to do one at dinner time to see if we get people to come out for dinner. We're going to have the cafe stay open a little bit later and prepare a dinner or some food for dinner, and then I'm going to do another podcast. So I want to get into, I love talking to people and hearing from people, and thank you all for giving me the opportunity to talk with you today. Hope that you were blessed by what we were able to share, and we'll come back. My plan is to be back every Tuesday for this season. This season I call it Dear Future Spousey. So we're dealing with topics such as dating. We're dealing with topics such as as how do you choose a mate, all these different things. So when I saw that question, I definitely wanted to address it. Listen, if you have some topics that you would like to talk about, feel free to shoot those to me. My email is pastorwill@victoriouspraise.org. Will has only got one L. There's only one of me. I know most people spell it with two, but I'm only one. If you send it to a guy with two L's, it won't be me. Pastor Will, WIL, @victoriouspraise.org. I'd love to hear from you. As a pastor, I preach to the people of God based upon the needs of the people and what I'm hearing from God. And so both of those things can be things that drive me. Lord, this is where my people are, so I need a word. Or God says, this is where I want you to take the people, so here is the word. And both of those happen. Well, with the podcast, I do the same thing. Number one, there's some things that God has placed in my heart about this whole thing about relationships. I've written 5 books on it. But then there's some things that are on your heart that you would like to get a biblical response, to hear other people talk about it. And so I feel that that's just as important as the other. So thank you all for joining me. If you would love to, if you got some topics that you would like to hear from, and you hear from a pastor, hear from others, please email me, Pastor Will, at victoriouspraise.org. Pastor Will, WIL1L, at victoriouspraise.org. And please put in the comments, because I get like 1,000 emails. I get so many emails. Put in the comment, just say podcast discussion. Say that. I'll see that. Podcast discussion or podcast questions. Thank you all for your time. I hope that you've been blessed by this. Share this. It will be on all your podcast platforms shortly, but you can share this live Facebook or YouTube post. We're trying to get the word out. We call this the Relationship Bootcamp Podcast, and this season is called Dear Future Spouse. Love you guys. Y'all take it easy. Hopefully I'll see y'all tonight. I need y'all there. Come on, Victorious Praise, family and friends. I hope that you all are going to join me tonight for our Greater Triangle District Conference. It starts tonight. We're honoring our bishop. Tomorrow night, Jacqueline Carr. Thursday night, evangelist Dorinda Clark Cole. Sunday night, we're going to have Leandria Johnson, as far as I know right now. If she cancels, that's going to be on her. But right now, she's scheduled to be with us, and we're praying for her. We're going to be honoring our district missionary on Thursday night. And if she is, I'm telling you, got one job: sing the song "Better Days." That's the song that blessed me and got me through some of my down periods and frustrating and depressing periods. So we're excited about our conference. Y'all be in prayer for the conference, that we have a successful conference, and that people are blessed as a result of it. I believe in what God has called me to do, and He's been with me now for 27 years of pastoring. And these last 5 have been some of the greatest and most difficult in my life, but it's God showing me that He's still with me. So I hope that you all will join me tonight. Let's get this conference kicked off strong. Thank you all. Y'all have a blessed afternoon.